So, hi guys! Welcome to this special reading here. This is very special because I have never done something like that before, and it's the past life of Kim Taehyung, and we're looking at 3 past lives. And when I asked Tarot to give me 3 past lives that we can look into, that it's okay for spirit, for Big Tay. So they gave me those 3 cards. So we have Greco-Roman, medicine man or women, and transportation. So what I want you to do is to choose one pile, because I'm going to look at the end of his past life. Like when we look into those, I'm going to look what your connection with him was in this past life and how this turns out into this life. And so I want you to choose one of these 3 and we'll look how you guys were connected, okay? So please choose one of the piles, pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and then we're going to the reading, okay? So hi everyone, this is the first past life we're looking into. It's called Greco-Roman, so we're looking into Roman times, Greek times. Wow, that's very ancient, right? We're going back a long time. So universe, please give me access to the past life of Kim Taehyung, to Greco-Roman times. The card you gave me. Show me his past life and how Army is connected to him. So we have our first pile of cards. The universe, please give me the past life of Kim Taehyung, the Greco-Roman one. We have our second pile. And then we have our third pile. The universe, please let me look into the past life. Please connect me to spirit, to source. Let me look into the past life, Greco-Roman past life of Kim Taehyung. What was going on and how was Army that's watching us connected? And you guys, you will know when you resonate, when you feel connected, you will feel it. I mean, not everyone is connected to those past life, but if you feel drawn to that pile, it could be that you are very well connected to him. Okay? So got my cards. So let's look at this. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. Yes. That's beautiful. Ooh. Okay. So what was the main theme of his past life? We'll look into this. And it says harmony. Wow, look at this. And this is even a singer. Wow. I always think it's stunning how, those cards match up with this life. And look at this, he was a star in there too. So I think this life, we can look in what universe gave us. It's very much connected to this life, because I see here the stars. I see here the protection. I mean, that's what happens in this life, right? He's protected, he's a star, he's a singer on stage. He loves flowers. And there are the birds, the 3 birds, meaning like this is the freedom he also wished to achieve in this life. Like a freedom, being like a bird. He's very much freedom loving. And as a singer, you can have this freedom because if you're a star, and if he was a star in the Greco-Roman time, I mean, he could have traveled everywhere. This is like in this life, like in Greco-Roman time, you could have traveled as a singer, It even looks like a singer or a woman, maybe he was a woman in that time. We will see later. But For me, this looks like he being on stage also, you know, and he having the freedom to go everywhere he wants, and he's protected. He was protected by the empire. I think he was very much protected, you know, and so he had the freedom to do what he wanted. But see those pillars, he was very stable. Those pillars mean he had a very stable life. He could have done anything he wanted. For me, he achieved harmony in this life. It was very harmonious, you know, he had everything he wanted. But also he was looking for the freedom sometimes to escape this role, because this is like on stage, him being on stage. It even looks like in Greek-Roman times, right? This card. This is amazing. So he was looking for achieving also this balance, you know, between being free and being also bound to this life as this famous person who brings harmony to people. Because I think in this life also he brought harmony to people, you know. So let's see, give me the 3 cards. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What was going on in this life? Look at this. So the main theme, look at this. The main theme in this life. Oh, let me get it like this. Okay. So you see the main theme of this life is being free to love, because that's what he couldn't do, you know. If you see this, it's very much connected to this life, because he's like that famous person being on stage, being admired by so many. And sometimes he wished to escape that, you know. It's like him going down. You can see it either way, but it's like him escaping this world, you know, because sometimes he felt that, see how that woman is alone on stage, like she's standing there, you know, and this means like the solitude, also not the solitude, but the, like, you know, you cannot, like, you have restrictions, you know, if you do this job, you know. Also in this times he had restrictions, and I think it's he was healing people with his, that's the healing, that's the see that those are the wings, that's the lion. So this is the healing sign for me, and it even looks Roman, doesn't it? It's so cool. So he was healing people, he was healing. This is the healing. With his music, he was also healing. But sometimes he wished he could escape this task or this job, because in order to find love, because this door was closed for him. See that? This door is closed, and behind it is the pentacle. And it's also, like I see it here, that sometimes, like this pentacle is shining. So he was concentrating on his work. It was like a gift from the universe. That's like even in this life. Maybe he's repeating that past life from the Greco-Roman time. But for me, it's like he was giving that pentacle, that shining light, that sun, being like a sun, healing people. But the door to romance was kind of closed for him. Because, you know, it's just not possible sometimes if you are in a position like this. And I see this here. The door to romance was closed. And that's why he wanted to escape sometimes this, this role he had, you know. This persona. That's amazing. Wow. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Let's see how the life was unfolding. Let's see how the life was unfolding. And look at this. For me, this is like him giving gifts to people. Look at this. Look at this. This house is also protected. See that? This house is protected. So since childhood, he was living a very prestigious life. I see here there's the abundance coming in, you know. Um, yeah, being a very kind person, giving gifts to people. That's why he came out as this healing person, you know. He was giving gifts, he was very charming, he was very, yeah, I see that since childhood. He was this person that always wanted to do the best for people in this past life. But then, like in the middle of his life, yeah, I think he was that healer in the church. I have the feeling he's that healer in the church. He was doing that music thing, and he was bringing harmony to people. That's what let's put this card. Let's leave this here because that's the main theme. Let's leave this here so we can see it. Yeah, he was like, look at this. It even looks like a church. So he was there in the church helping people, and they came to him, and he healed them. And he was always affectionate to people since childhood in this life, you know? Wow. I want to clarify the Five of Wands in this life. What's the Five of Wands in this past life? No, many people. Yeah, oh my god. He could have been a woman. Yeah, I think he was that woman. Yeah, look at this. This is like many people fighting for to get access to that woman. And there he is again, being protected. Look at this. That's like a lab, like a maze. And that's the protection here. See that? This woman is protected by the universe because she brings harmony and healing to people. And this is the card many people were fighting for. This is the big love card. So they were fighting to love that woman, you know. Like she had many suitors. Oh, that's him, you know. He had in this, as a woman, he was a woman. He had many suitors. That's very interesting. Many people were fighting for the love. That's like this life. That's very interesting. And but he stayed close to his childhood friends. I see that here. This is his. Maybe he had 6 close friends from since childhood, and that's the people he stayed with. And maybe he's repeating this past life, because it looks for me like this. What was the lesson of this past life? And sum it up. Wow, it's all about love. Look at this. Yeah, and again, look at this. We have the Pied Piper. Wow, look at this. He was a woman. He was playing that flute as a woman. Isn't it crazy? And he's repeating that past life as a man now? I think this is crazy. Like, wow. Look at this, Army. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? That's amazing. It's like the same all over again, this life. Okay. Wow. It's all about bringing love and hope and harmony to people, you know? With his music. He was a musician too in that life, only he was a woman. He brought peace to people. He was like the church where people could go. Let's ask why this past life is repeating, or because I see here it's repeating itself. Yeah, why is this past life repeating in this life? Oh, wow. What's this all about? Very, very interesting. What's this awakening about? I want to look. I feel here it's repeating. It's like a wake-up call. It's like an awakening that's happened that hasn't happened in this past life. You know, maybe there should have been an awakening because it was all about giving to people. What is this all about? Wait, let me get this. this is his energy right now, you know, being the Queen of Cups. See, again, he has that big cup of love for people. It's like the same all over again. It's like the same all over. He's like that mermaid. It's about, okay, I see. Okay, in this past life, he cut out what he couldn't have completely. And I think it was all about love, because we saw that love card was here. Because he was that healer, and like he lived in this healing, like he healed people with his music as this woman. And you know, in those times, of course, women in Greco-Roman times, I don't know much about history, but it was not that bad for women, I think, as in the Middle Ages, but I could be mistaken, you know. But I think he had all the freedom to travel with his music and be protected by someone. But being like that healer, he cut out parts of his life that were important completely in this past life. And there was no awakening being present in that past life. Meaning believing that also the parts you cut out are important for your life, you know. And as a woman, maybe it was also not possible for him to live all those different things, you know. And I think he had to, because he was that healer, and he was you know, like being in the church and helping people, I think he was sometimes longing for this love that he had to fill with people, you know, in this past life, as she as a woman filled it with people. And I think he lived very ascetic, you know. He didn't have, like, he cut out because of work. I see that here also, because of her work. I call him her because he was a woman. He cut out completely things that were maybe he couldn't experience in this past life. And that's why it's repeating itself, to find a balance in this life, to find a balance between the work you do for healing people and also having a private life, especially in love. Look at this. So that's why I think later in life, when he, you know, how can you say, like, he will never be away from army. I know that. That's very important to him. It's like in this past life, he has to stay to heal people his whole life. But in this life, because that means being adored by many, being like a leader figure, being like that being like the person people look up to. And that's why you see him here as a male. You see that? He's a male in this life. He's a man. We know that. And but this is also the card for being famous. And he still embodies that Queen of Cups energy from that woman inside of herself in this life. Isn't it crazy? And he has to find the balance. And this awakening is in this life. And it's important for him to not cut out. Yeah, to not cut out those parts of him that have to be fulfilled too. And that's why he's repeating this life. That's very... Wow. Wow. Okay, let's look into your connection. What was the connection of the army watching who feels drawn to this pile to him as a woman in this past life? Okay, so we will look at this. Oh, wow, look at this celebration. Show me what's this all about. You were the high priestess. Let me get the high... What is the high priestess all about? What is that Ace of Wands all about? I think you were part of his workplace. Yeah, you were working together. Yeah, you were, look at this, like this is giving and taking. It's very interesting. Let me see. This is like, oh, you were like, yeah, look at this. For me, it looks like you were the masculine energy, this person here. You were working with her to give, like, to give to the people, to the poor. It's like she was that celebrity. Yeah, I see now. She was that celebrity. And you were kind of like this card means bringing into fruition. So all the money she made, and you were giving it to the poor. Like you guys were helping, and you were one of the persons who helped distributing, giving the pentacles she earned to the poor. You know, and you were doing this, so you were kind of working in her, with her. You know, you were a male figure. Yeah, you were a male person. Army. That's very interesting. And she was that high priestess. Yeah, she was untouchable. Look at this. That's him as a high priestess. Look how beautiful. And he has that moon there. That's why his connection to the moon is so strong. Highly intuitive person. And there's the tree, guys. Oh my gosh. There's the tree. And there's a plus. There's the tree. Yeah. So this is like, and the Seven of Swords means she was untouchable. Like, she was that high priestess. The high priestess is someone like who is very intuitive, who knows everything. Like, she has her contract here. So I see him or her as, again, that woman on the throne, the celebrity, you know, and you helped her. But she was untouchable. She had no, like, yeah, you were helping her. What's that all about? I want to know here the Ace of Wands. Advice. Talking. Yeah, I think you helped her establishing businesses in like giving advice to people, and those are new projects that came in. The Ace of Wands, of course, the Ace of Wands can say something different. We know that. I don't know, you know. But I think in this case, it means that guys were starting new projects. You were doing new projects in her name. And especially going to the countryside and bringing her words, her advice, like to people. You were like a messenger. You were like her messenger, like a manager of her that went out separately and as one, you know, and brought parts of her work to people, to the country, to the people. And you guys helped with that. You helped other people with that because she was that famous celebrity. That's beautiful, isn't it? Wow. This is so cool. I don't need to look any further because this is really cool, isn't it? Okay, so let's check out what's important from this past life to know for him in this life. So that's all, and then we finish the reading. So what's important for him to learn in this life, what's connected to that life? Yeah, have faith. Yeah. The ship movement. Here we see also, see that? The ship movement. Traveling, moving. Yeah. Because in this life it's all about for him to combine, and you saw that angel, right? Where was that angel? That what's important for his life now is as this celebrity to combine here, to combine the two forces, like to combine his private life and his official life, like to combine those two. And the angel is helping him. That's Big Tae. That's why Big Tae is there, you know? And that's why he's, you know, he has to learn that faith in Big Tae and his words, you know? And that his ship, his travel, it's moving, that even sometimes if it's not moving in his life, you know, he has to have faith that everything will work out fine in this life, you know, that he has all the tools he needs inside of him. Like, even look at how snowy this is, but he carries the light. He's that healer. That also, because here we have this male person, that also he's that, like right now, he's that male person. And he's giving that cup to people, you know, again. And even if sometimes he has the feeling he's like that hermit person, like that person that's alone on his journey, you know, that maybe he thinks he cannot combine those two things because right now he's in that energy of bringing that light to people. We know that, right? Because right now he cannot work on that other part of his life. And he really wants to, you know, he really wants to work on that private life. That's why this page is here, that's very innocent. That's a very innocent person. Very innocent, especially in love. That wants to give their cup and really wants to help people. That innocent energy is in him. But this part of his life, he could not really live right now because he also is this person that has to bring harmony to people. That's his life purpose, you know. And the universe is saying in this life it's important to trust the angels. So by moving forward, even if he feels stuck with moving forward, he has all the tools inside of him because also of this past life, you know, and this comes out when the time is necessary. He will find, it's all divine timing because he is that hermit right now. He's again the healer. And sometimes he feels like alone on this journey, you know, but he will move. He will get there eventually in this life, you know. So we can all be happy because this is very beautiful reading. He will find the balance because that's why the angel is here and he needs to have faith in this life, that he will eventually find, and he can give his cup to the ones he wants later in life. But right now this energy is very innocent. This energy is not really, how you say that, it's not yet like this is his private life. This is very innocent. Like he could not do a lot of stuff in his private life for, you know, because he's that person that's on stage, and that's the healer type. That's why he's that old soul. Look at this. He's that old soul inside a young body. That's exactly his energy, you know. He has this innocent, very young looking person, but he's that old soul that has all the wisdom. And with that, he will always move. He will move to the things he needs to know. And there's the moon, that means cycles. So the right cycles will come for the right time. And he just needs to have faith that everything will work out fine, because he repeats kind of this life, this past life and this life, to find the balance between his private life and his healing life, okay? Beautiful. Very beautiful. Okay, that's it for this life. Now we'll move on to the next one. Wow, that was very crazy. So hi guys, welcome to the next reading. We're here with pile 2, and the first reading was already stunning. So we'll look into the second past life of Kim Taehyung. The universe gave us as a medicine man. He was always that kind of healer, even in the Greek Roman times, and I think this is another past life where he was a healer too. I think he is always the healer coming to heal people. So universe, show me this past life of Kim Taehyung as a medicine man or woman. Okay. Okay, what was the main topic of this past life as a medicine woman? Wow. Yeah. Look at this. The deer always means for me trusting the path, like going new trails. The butterfly we have here, so it's again him. I always think it's astonishing. It's crazy how we throw out him in all those piles, you know. So he was a woman a lot of times. Like we saw in the last past life, he was a woman. So let's see. For me, it looks like he was a woman too. Very interesting, but we will see what the cards say, you know. So in this past life as a medicine woman, I see he was walking new trails. He was different than the masses. I see that also from the butterfly. Like he was different. Like, you know, let me show what this is all about. Oh, wow. Wow. Very interesting. Let me get a card from this. Oh, wow. He had a very long life. Like I see that, and here we have the rainbow again in the tree, you know. I think it was his fifth, like 5 lifetimes ago. That's around 400 years. When is that? Like 16, 1700. So he must have lived in Europe, I think. Oh no, he could have lived in the States too. Yeah. Like 1600 something, you know. But he was living outside in the woods. We also have the tree here. You know, for me, this is like living in the woods. And like you see the rainbow, you see the chakra system aligning. So he was a healer. He was a healer again. And we see that also of the medicine woman. He's always a healer. And this is, I think, his family. Because this is, oh, let's see, this is his overall life. Like, he was this medicine woman or man living in the woods. Again, we have the tree here. See that? Because this is an overall situation and we look right into that life in a minute. Yeah, but he brought that healing. Look, this is the pentacle. He made money with this, was his job, you know, bringing healing to people. But he also had this wonderful family. He was emotional fulfilled. The Ten of Chalices is one of the most beautiful cards in this tarot deck. And look again, we have the tree outside. So he was living in nature. That's where his love from nature comes from. I see that here. Like, I mean, how many trees do we want? You know, this is tree. He loved riding horses. Maybe he was a guy, I don't know. Yeah, he also, this for me also means he had a very good connection to his mother or to his grandmother, to one person in his life who was like a mother figure. And they had a very beautiful family. Like, his family life was very beautiful. I see that here, very, very harmonious. And he was like that person, I think that's him, like always wanting to be different. And he had these ideas and he was always striving forward, you know. That's a Knight of Swords, like having all these ideas and just going for it, you know, not being patient. So I think that's his energy and that's his mother probably. Yeah. And trusting the path, you know. In this life he was a healer, so he need to trust the path. That was his like he had to change a lot too, I think, because of that butterfly here. And he had to walk new trails. Look at this. Going new trails and always charging forward, doing something different than the masses. And with that, he was healing people. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Show me how that past life. What was the biggest... Yeah, what was the task he had to learn? Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my gosh. He worked on healing. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And he had a happy family. We saw that. Oh my gosh. And he had a lot of friends. He was healing also women. What how he did this? I think he was a guy. Yeah, he was that person, like that's him. And he was always charging forward. Very intelligent person. It could have been an air sign, but also an earth sign I see here. And we have harvest here, so yeah, for me this is his big, what he had to learn in this life is how to heal people so he can use it for this life, you know? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? It's like he's taking all of those past lives and combining them in this life. So that means he's very evolved soul. He's a very evolved soul. I mean, that's why he's doing these amazing things in this life, you know? So he learned healing, how to heal, especially women. That's very interesting. Oh my gosh. And women came to celebrate because they were healed. Look at this. He was giving the cup to women. Like, this is very interesting. And he was that healer. Like, he was very intelligent. And people came to him, I think. Or he went to people's houses and healed them. He was that healer coming because he lived in the forest. I mean, he lived outside of town. He lived in the nature. And yeah, like people trusted in him for healing. That's why they came to him, because he was very a person that you could trust, you know, especially women. Now I see it. That's why he learned how to, that's why he healed so many of us women in this lifetime. Isn't it crazy? He was a very hard worker. I see that here. He's very focused, you know, like in this life. He's very focused on healing and also in learning, because the pentacles I see here that he learned this craft. He learned that as a young man, you know, we saw that here with the horse. He learned how to, maybe this was a craft that was not done by many people. No, not many people knew how to do it. And you had to be very focused. Look how he's very focused on his work. Yeah, and here we see again the healing. I don't know what this is, but it reminds me of healing, that he learned how to heal people. He learned it, and he healed women. They came to him, or he came to those women, and they were happy. He brought happiness, especially to women. That's very interesting. And here he had a wonderful life himself too. Look at this. This is the house where he probably lived. And harvest means, like, what should I say to this? This is one of the most perfect cards in the tarot, you know? He had this family life. He had a family. That's why we saw before the Ten of Chalices. He was very emotional fulfilled. He had reached everything in his life, you know? And he was that very person, that very known person in the community, that he could heal women. Very interesting. Wow. Wow. That's so cool, right? That's so cool. Okay, let's see how you guys were connected. I think you were the women he healed. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I want to leave this picture here, but it reminds me of him so much, you know? So let's see what is the connection with the army. Yeah, he healed your shadow self. Look at this. Oh my gosh. This is like in this life, you know. He was healing army, and this is like one of us going there and he healed. Wow, what's this all about, universe? Timing. And Sim coming for healing. Look at this. He was a healer of yours. That's very interesting. That's not him. That's your energy. Why is that Queen of Wands here? What is this all about, the Nine of Wands? Yeah. What's that shadow timing? Can I have one more card for this? Oh. Oops. Okay. Okay, you came to him because he was like kind of like a psychology person. I think he healed with words and like like an advisor from the woods. I think you couldn't get pregnant, something like that, because I see here she's looking to the moon and she doesn't know what's going on with herself. And this is your husband in this past life, someone else, you know. This was your big love. And you lived in this cottage with that person. And you guys were not giving up on conceiving a child, I think. You know, and you guys were very passionate about conceiving a child, but look at his face. He was tired. He was getting tired of this, you know, because, you know, in those times, like 400 years ago, it was very hard for a woman if she couldn't get pregnant. And timing was a big role, you know. Timing was very of the essence in this life, you know, because you could not, like, you know, and the thing is, you were stressing yourself out because of that, because you could not get pregnant. And but, you know, don't take it as this is just a specific person I'm talking about. I mean, we could have been all part of this past life and we were probably all women he healed. Like we came out to the woods to him. And this is just one gosh, one specific case. But you see here how this path with two. There were two people. So I think like you were trying to get pregnant, but at the end it was like your husband chose someone else because you could not pregnant. And this led you to kind of a depression. Because the shadow self, and she's looking at the moon, this is like a card for me. Look at this, it's very dark and it's like the shadow self. So that's for me that seems like kind of a worrying you had all over, you know. You were worrying a lot because the timing wasn't right, you know. The timing was not, it was just not your time. And you had a husband, he was your big love, and he chose another woman. Yeah, the Joker. The Joker. So he chose another woman, and you could have been a fire sign. This could have also been you, you know, and then you were alone because your husband left you to be with another woman because you couldn't get pregnant, you know, and then he came, you know, that's our baby. Look at him. He's coming in and bringing that healing. Yeah, he's fighting for you. So he brought that healing to you and he healed kind of your shadow self. And that's when you found the door to happiness again. Look at this. It's like both paths after that healing lead to heaven, you know, to happiness. So you were kind of a dark place because your husband left you for someone else and you were alone. And, you know, for a woman to be alone in this 400 years ago, it was not easy. So he came in and he healed you. I think he was kind of a counselor. Yeah. Very sweet, isn't it? Very sweet. So let's see what is important for this life for him to know. So what is important to take over from this life, from this past life into this life? Yeah, again, centering. Look at this. Wow. There's again that butterfly, isn't it? Doesn't it look like a... But it's a mirror. What is this all about? Oh my gosh, it's again, yeah. Finding that balance. It's all coming together, guys. that's why I'm asking. That's interesting, because I asked this in the first reading, and there was again finding the balance, and here again, because both of those past lives lead to up to this life. And this is like the standing stone, the standing stone is like bringing balance and finding that balance, because he's that rock, healing people again. The old king, that's him, for infinity. He's a very enlightened being in this life, and he gets all the healing information, that's an awakening. After the awakening happens, when he's awakened, especially to spirit in this life, and I think this already happened, he gets all the information. He can get access to that healing of that woman in this life, he learned. And that's why he already got that access, like that information he can download. And for infinity, he's combining those two past lives in order to find balance, to get enlightened, especially when there's a standstill in his life. And that's very interesting, because in the first life he was a woman, being a celebrity, getting all the information in this life from there being a celebrity, and here he's the healer. He's healing women, and especially in his private life, because I see that here too. That's his private life. That's what he has to be centered in this life, so that he can live both life. Because in the other life, in the first past life, he was also that celebrity, but he couldn't live his private life. And I think here in this life, it's like the universe is here to help him center this, to be that standing stone for people where the light shines on, So he's healing Army his whole life, but also to be enlightened and to know how to bring about relationships in his life and to be centered, so that he can experience in this life, he can have both sides, the healing side and also the side of his private life. It's very, very interesting, because both of those past lives are important for this life. Isn't that beautiful? Let me get one more card for this. Wow, yeah. Centering his feminine and his masculine side, that's the feminine. Yeah, because he's masculine in this life, and he's centering the feminine from the other past life I just did in pile 1. That's very, very interesting, isn't it? Now we're moving on to the next past life, and I think they all connect. Maybe the next past life connects to this life too, because the first ones did. He did this healing, he get access to this life, and also this being the celebrity, being standing in the spotlight. He has access to both lives, So hi guys. It's very interesting how all those past life fit into this life, isn't it? So maybe transportation, it's all about traveling, maybe this past life also fits into this one. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, how can you combine 3 past life to help you in one life he's living now, It's amazing. It's amazing. I think we should do this past life reading also randomly, Please tell me in the comments what you think, like randomly for you guys, not only for our cuties. So that I draw cards and maybe you find yourself in a pile about a past life. You feel that if it's you, Universe, please show me Kim Taehyung's past life about transportation. You said we can look into. So please show me information about that past life. Universe, please show me about this past life of Kim Taehyung about transportation. Universe, please show me this past life. Kim Taehyung, transportation. Okay. So let's see. This is very cool, isn't it, Army? You will love this past life reading. This is very, very informative, very interesting, Okay, so let's look what was the biggest theme to learn in this past life. Oh, wow. I have the feeling this is really repeating itself. It says about kindred spirits, like finding like-minded people. And look at this, the Asian. This transportation, he lived in Asia. Yeah, that's what the connection is all about. This is really cool. And look at this. It reminds me of those from the boys, when they did this. What is it called? The snow? These gifts for each other? So it's all about finding kindred spirits, who travel with you. Oh, wow. We have V here right there. Yes. Wow. Yeah. This is all about being kindred spirits is like who are very innocent at heart. That's him, being very innocent, being a very innocent soul. Like he's that childish soul, and in this past life about transportation, that's why it's all about transportation. It's about traveling. He was traveling because he was looking for people that are like him, very pure at heart, but very transformative and living kind of in a bubble, like a child lives in a bubble, That's why he learned how in this past life, how to live in a bubble, because that's what he needs right now. I mean, he's living in that bubble too right now, working his healing, bringing his healing to people, traveling. And this is like purity, innocent. And what he brings to people is like that feeling of home, that feeling of being a child again. When we discover the boys, he learned that in this past life. Isn't it amazing? It all connects to this life. I think it's just amazing. And this is like finding people that are like him, like-minded, like very pure, have the same interests, have the same spirit, Because here we see the Hierophant is like a person who teaches. So I think he was the King of Swords, I think he was that male person, yeah. That's a traveler too. Look, this could even look like that person that's traveling a lot, on ship. We see here transportation. It looks like the Titanic. So he was that very wise person, like a teacher who taught children. Oh, that's why kindred spirits. That's like he was teaching children. He also learned how to connect to children. That's why his connection to children is that strong. He had this in his past life while traveling. Maybe he was a teacher that traveled around to teach children. Because I see that here. It's like he's teaching children, kindred spirits. So this is very interesting. In this life here, with the transportation, I get the feeling he was this old man. Like he was learning his whole life, like traveling a lot. He probably had money and he was traveling just out of interest, collecting all those things. Yeah, I think he was a very very rich person, like someone who has a lot of money, so he can have the freedom to travel. This is all about freedom traveling. And at the end of his life, at the end when he was older, he was writing all those books about his travels and he was teaching children. He was a teacher. Yeah. That's why the Hierophant, that's why where his morals came from. He's like that. That's like this child soul into an old man's body. He never got old. That's what I see here. In this life, he was traveling around, he was collecting all kinds of things, and he never got old. Very interesting. He was that childish soul in an old body. It's like the other way around from this life, And he was teaching children values. He was talking about his travels, yeah. And here again, we see that that bird, look at this, he wanted to be free. He wanted to be free. That's why he traveled a lot, and he went to people's houses. I get the idea. He later had a lot of money, because the Nine of Pentacles, you see here the store with all the money. He had a lot of money, and he went to people's houses to talk about his travels, to talk about that. Wow. And it was all about to see that yeah, like, you know, that children are kindred spirits too. To see that, to be like a child and to have this freedom, and that this is very important in his life, you know. What was the most important thing he had to learn in this past life? Thought. Again, we have the King of Swords. Yeah, let's put this is the teaching, the V, and that was his personality. And he was very independent in this past life. He had a lot of money. He was traveling around, and he was like a thought, you know. He wrote down his thoughts. He wrote books. I think he was a writer, an author, and he wrote it for children. Yeah. And in this past life, he had to learn that the kindred spirits, you know, that we're all kindred spirits, and that being in like an old soul in a young body, and the same way around, being a young soul in an old body, it doesn't matter. It's all mixed up, you know, it's all mixed together. Yeah, being very wise. The Star again. King of Wands. Yeah. The Emperor. Wow. Yeah. So he was known too. He was a known person in the community, or maybe also in the world. So again, he lived as a celebrity. We can see that here. So in all those past lives, not in all, well, yeah, in the last past life too, he was known by people. He brought healing in some kind of form to people. Like in the first past life, he was bringing music to people as a woman. In the second past life, he was a medicine man. He bringing healing to women. And isn't it amazing? And here, he's bringing healing to children through books. He was a writer. He was a writer that experienced a lot of, yeah, he traveled everywhere. It's like a fox. He had to be very, like, people looked up to him because he was very clever. He was very clever, and he wrote down his thoughts, you know. He was like a philosopher, you know, and he was also very known because it says the Star. And I feel kind of a magician vibe here. Being like the emperor, having a lot of money, being very known, being that famous person. I see pentacles here, so could have been an earth sign, could have been a fire sign here. But I see this man that goes around. I think I see also in this past life, I see him being alone and like having no real home. Like traveling and being like that star people look up to. And when they come into, he was traveling from houses, you know, helping children, you know, writing his books. And I see here a woman reading his books. He wrote down, he was a writer. Yeah, he was a writer. Very clever one. Very clever. And I think he also gave speeches. Very interesting. But he was a traveler and kind of a teacher, a leader of some sort. Wow. This is very interesting, isn't it, Army? Wow. So how was Army's life connected to him in this past life? What's this? What's this? Oh my gosh. This for me looks like a romantic connection. This doesn't look like some sort of workplace connection. Let's see. There's traveling again. So we were traveling together. I see that here. Look at this. It's like both of them are traveling together. Three of Cups. That's like the Army card again. Oh my gosh, we had this the exact same positions in the last past life. Yeah, he was traveling a lot. And you were one of his friends or something. Let's see. What is the Seven of Pentacles about? Like a muse. You were like a muse. I see this as a muse. Yeah. You were like a muse to him. Wow, that's relationship. You were in a relationship with him. What's that Six of Swords all about? King of Pentacles. Yes. Yes. So what I see here is that you guys were married. Because I see here the King of Pentacles. Or you were traveling together. But I think if we're talking about a past life here, maybe 4 lifetimes ago. So 4 lifetimes, if I say a lifetime is 70 years, 4 times 7 is 300 years ago, around 300 years ago. So we're talking about, it even feels like, no, this is in the 19th century. When does that transportation happen? I think when that machine was invented in 1860, right? I'm not good in history. I just do everything what comes to my mind. So 1860, 1870. Even the people look like this. Yes. And you guys met when he was younger. Look at this. You guys met when he was 28. That's so him, isn't it? That's so him. That's so him. Come on. Who's sitting barefoot on a chair? That's just him. Yeah, you were like a muse, and when you guys met, maybe you had a child from another marriage but you were his muse. Oh, very interesting. And you had this relationship that was formed out of a friendship, yeah. But he was kind of a ladies' man before he met you. Look at this. I mean, it's like him and 2 other women. Wow. And you were kind of his muse. Yeah, he was, like, when he's writing, he even writes there. Because he was a writer. Maybe yeah, and he was waiting for you. 4 of Pentacles. He didn't, yeah. You were in a relationship or marriage with someone else. And he was waiting for you because he was very drawn to you. I think you guys met when he was 28 years old. I cannot see anything else from those cards. I mean, this is the only stuff the universe is throwing out for me. And he was kind of a ladies' man. And in the time while he was waiting for you, yeah. In the time while he was waiting for you, I mean, he was kind of enjoying his single life, I think. That's what men did, in the 19th century. Especially when they were famous. He was known as a writer. He was a writer. He was a teacher and a writer, a philosopher. Because he brought this ideas to people, like a hierophant is someone who teaches, especially children later in life. This was later in life. But when he was a young man, he was a writer. I see this also as a writer personality. You were his muse. He was really attracted to you. And he was waiting for you. Because you were in a marriage with someone else, but this was gone after some time, and you guys went into the relationship, and you guys were husband and wife. I see that here, and you were traveling together. He could have been an earth sign in this life too. Oh my gosh. Because he loves traveling together. Isn't it in this life too that he loves to travel with the ones he loves? This is so cool. This is so crazy. So let's look at the last cards. What is important from this life to bring into this life, So, let's see. Transition, yeah. Wow. Crazy shit, eh? Yeah. Again, we have the Six of Wands. All those past lives mean something for this life. This is being a celebrity now. Yeah. Being, having this kindred spirit he works together with. And this is the celebration card. This is the army card. Living together and being in a group setting. Living together. Being famous. Yeah. And going through this transition. What is this transition all about? I want to... Give me one more card to this mountain. Now again, we have the book. We have again the book. Oh, he gets all the downloads from the books he wrote in this life. Oh, if there are blockages in life, he can download Oh my gosh, this is crazy, guys. Look at all those books he has written in this past life. So he can have access to that information when he's kind of stuck. Like all these past life, what he gets is the information from those past lives to transition and to go along better in this life. This is crazy, guys. Like he can download when there's a blockage in his life, he can download the information from the books to transition through those blockages. Like if he doesn't know what's going on, look at this. This woman is like standing there and there's like a, see, she cannot move through that. She has to stand there and wait. And that was the same thing in the second past life and in the first one too, I think. So he can have access to those books he wrote about whatever, and to those Hierophant. I mean, even his name is here, you know. And yeah, he gets information. He can download the information and use it in this life, because in this life he's a celebrity. We have it again, the male, we have a male celebrity. We have working together, with people. This is building stuff together, working together in a workplace, and also living together, and especially in having a relationship. He can download this because I think, and this is at the end, so for me this means, because I've seen in the other two past lives that the most important thing for him is to connect the balance, or to find the balance in this life, between his private life, what is represented by this, and his work life, because he's a celebrity. And in this life he was very private. He was that reader, like that writer, and also like a spokesperson for people. He connected to children very good, but he had a private life. I mean, he was married. You saw that you were married to him. So whoever I'm talking to, you were his wife, and he could have lived this. So in this past life, he already combined those two aspects. What he couldn't do in the Greek Roman times, where he was the celebrity, and in the second past life, he learned that healing. And here he learned how to be a celebrity and also combine stuff, And again, this he downloads also for this life now. It's very interesting, and also traveling here. And we saw that he traveled with his wife, and I think that's what he wants in this life to do again, and he can get access to that information because he has lived a life where he was also a famous person, like a very known person, a writer, very wrote many books, and he can have access to those information for this life again, to combine his private life and his work life. Because to find the balance, this is important. That's why Big T is also with him. It's very important to connect those two lives. But I think in this life, it is like he has to live his... Look at how this is. This is an order, guys. And this is what I finished the reading with. This is an order. He's famous. He's riding that golden horse. Look at this. He's bringing healing to people. People look up to him. Then that's his work life. He's building in a group setting. He's working together with the kindred spirits. This comes after that. His private life comes after this is over. Well, it will never be over because, as I said before, his purpose in this life is to help and to heal again, to heal Army. This life here, he was kind of a healer, but not really, because he was writing books, okay, and he was teaching children. He was also a healer, but here he combined those things. And I think in this life, it's like he heals first and then he has his private life. It looks like this, So later in life, he might not travel as much. Here he traveled his whole life, and he traveled with his wife. And I think here the private life, the marriage and everything comes later in life, because this is the end card. Comes after the work. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. I really love that, So that's all what I have. Very interesting setting what we had. You can write me in the comments if you like this reading. I mean, it's very interesting how all those past life fit into this life, you know, and I'm very stunned, guys. I haven't thought that I'd do a reading like this, you know, this is crazy. Okay, so very cool information, guys, okay? So I finished the reading here and I wish you a nice Monday. Have a nice time, guys. Bye.